All human beings are connected by creation, according to the law of divine oneness. In the human body, every single part is linked to the universe. There is a single way that all human moves are controlled. It means that everything people do has an effect on the whole group, not just one person. The rule of divine oneness unites all of humankind and the environment through a common awareness. It looks like all living things are linked to a single source of energy that will never end. When people give someone a little happiness, as friends, they both get the same amount of love. The law of divine oneness keeps the universe stable and in balance. Also, the law of divine oneness says that there is nothing that is not part of divine oneness. There is no end to the vague presence of oneness in space, time, or energy. Everyone on earth must follow this rule in order to live and do well. People must first learn about the rules of the world if they really want to change their lives for the better. It is possible to think of the first law that was made as the law of divine oneness. It has an immediate effect on how someone thinks, what they want, what they believe, and what they do. All of these things have an effect on the world and the people who live in it. Humans are made in the form and likeness of God according to the universal law of divine oneness. It's the way of the God or source, and it shows that anything is possible. People feel blessed when they connect with their source. Regular prayer is important according to all spiritual guides, or meditation, especially when you want to use the universal laws. The law of divine oneness connects all human actions and the world through a shared awareness. It says that everyone is linked to a single source of energy that never runs out. So, when someone gives pleasure, the other person gives pleasure back to him. This rule makes sure that the world is stable and in balance. If someone looks out the window, they will see that everything they see is linked by vibrating energy. No matter what causes it, everything moves. Vibrational energy is based on what the object's final goal is. Among the different types of energy are chemical energy and nuclear energy, heat energy, electricity, radiant energy, and elastomeric energy, energy from sound, motion, and gravity. The universe is made up of spiritual oneness, which means that human thinking can change and move global energies. That means nothing can get around the rules. People need to understand that their goals, views, and behaviors will be on the same page and work to move things in a good way. When someone acts, feels, and thinks in a certain way, the vibes he brings into his life are either good or bad. Some people start to change how they think about how anger, revenge, or anyone who feels hate can make the world and the people in it suffer. It takes place when people feel like they are all one. Being aware of this could help them change, turn their thoughts into more good energy. The human mind can be purified by love, which is the most powerful feeling. Love has a very high level of energy that pulls back to it things and people that are like it. Energies can only change from one state to another. They can't be made or killed. In this world, nobody dies. Things, alive or not, just change shape from one stage to the next. Anything and everything in the world is always changing. One example is water, which is always changing from. Steam turns into water, ice, and then back to steam. One could imagine a fort that is 100 years old and has been left to fall apart naturally. The building had slowly fallen apart over many years of use because of changes in energy and other things in the area. It has been slowly going down because of the energy source that affects it. One piece at a time, it keeps changing shape until it all breaks down and goes back to the universe. The energy is used to make something new, because in the end, nothing can be destroyed. Human thoughts, emotions, and habits all produce vibrational waves. To bring things into human life, these vibrations can be balanced. As a result of attracting a lot of bad energy, people will feel more of the same. If someone is moving at a low level, good things will not come into their life. When you listen to positive words early in the morning or right before bed, your inner self can take them in. People repeat a set of positive words or sentences over and over to change their thoughts and raise their vibrational energy. This message of hope will keep the mind on simple things like happiness and positivity all day. Everybody should set aside some time every morning to meditate so they can link with their mind and the vastness of the world. People have been meditating for a very long time. It's something that most very successful people do. Through the inner parts of the human mind, meditation is said to be like a key that opens global knowledge. Someone who is calm opens up this power, which lets feelings, thoughts, and happiness into their mind. Sharing is the best way to feel emotionally connected to someone else. Life will change for someone who always tries to help others instead of taking from them. You don't have to give money to help other people. They are good at many things and can use those skills to help other people. The law of divine oneness works best when there is a lot of energy flowing, and it feels great to help other people. Everyone should be thankful for what they have right now. People will never draw more unless they thanks them for what they already have. There are always more things that people want in the world. But when was the last time they took a moment to be thankful for what they already have? It doesn't matter where people are in the world. The rule of spiritual oneness shows that everything is linked through energy. Because live things are generally positive, they will produce the highest energy waves. It will make one's life better and the lives of those around him better as well. When people have strong, good vibrations, they start to get more of the same vibes. Rich, healthy, and happy are all things that people should strive for. Getting high energy levels is the key to this. Even though the solar system isn't alive, the fact that it shares a part with living things on Earth shows that it is. The life cycle is one example. The human race is born. They get old and die in the end. Dust settles is a saying. It means that things keep going. In other words, a person goes back to where he came from. There are no more spaces in the circle. An introduction to the law of divine oneness. A child always needs to learn new things. He tries to grasp the idea that he is a part of something bigger than his small group of family and friends as he gets older. He has a sense that he is linked to everything in the world. Young children know they are loved. An older person who holds the baby will be unable to help but love the child. It could be the child's doctor, nurse, parents, family member, close friend, or stranger. But when the child is very young, he or she doesn't know who the parents are. All of these people are seen as therapists and guardians. There is nothing different from being one. There is only oneness. As the kid gets bigger, this feeling of being one with them gets stronger as they play together. Cats and dogs, whether they are pets or strays, without being scared of them. He feels connected to these animals and knows that they are all connected. Children who feel like they are no longer being cared for develop a sense of being separate from the rest of the world. Following this kid will feel unsafe, hurt, suspicious, angry, and alone. Because of this, it will take him a while to get to know people who want to be his friend. Children often say that they want to fit in and be accepted when they are young. A kid no longer feels like he or she is a part of that bigger picture because the adults in his or her life. His life experiences have shown him that he needs to depend on them for love, approval, and basic needs. The child then wants attention when he feels like he's missing out on a lot in life. For the child, separation becomes real. A lot of homes have a child who grows. The fear of being turned down by his parents. In order to feel like he belonged again, he will do what his parents tell him to do without question. He believes that this will help him fit in. Made them feel like they belonged or were part of something. Kids who are constantly afraid and suspicious are more likely to lie to their parents. Also, some kids don't talk about their hopes and dreams, and some are perfectionists who do really well at everything they do. If accuracy isn't reached, they think they've failed. It's awful to be afraid. There are two types of kids, those who hide their feelings and those who do everything they can to make other people happy or sad. People from all over the world can learn from the law of divine oneness, which explains how everything in the world is connected. The seen and hidden, the known and the unknown. and people all live in a place where divine knowledge is present. Pure awareness or world mind energy often has the following features. People are a part of it, and it's called life force or God. One's own thoughts, actions, and emotions are affected by everything else humans do. This global energy link connects people to each other and to the whole world. Sometimes, like when a stone is dropped into water, the results may not be very noticeable. The waves in the distance are the smallest, but they still make the water move in some ways. How can people feel like they fit or are part of something bigger so they don't feel alone? These people will start to understand how strong it is to be part of a group. They start to get together as a group and work together. You can put it on your desk or use it to stop a door from opening, but when used by itself, it can only be used for certain things. If you have a pile of bricks, you can think about all the options. A lot of stacked bricks can be used to build walls, towers, and other structures. Buildings like homes, roads, schools, churches, light poles, entrances, stoves, fires, and more. All of the bricks will need to be put together for what people want to happen. One brick can't do it by itself. But when it's used as part of a bigger system, that one brick becomes very important. It holds the other bricks in place, but it also needs to be built first, with the help of the other bricks to become important and useful. If people work alone to get what they want and think they do not need help from anyone else. One brick is sufficient. It's okay to do something by yourself, but being alone means not reaching your full potential. So, when someone opens his hands to others, his trust and skills will be put to good use for everyone. The friends and associates will also work together by sharing their skills and abilities for bigger goals. Oneness has many levels and many layers. The parts are shown in the law of divine oneness, of a physical body, which is basically the vehicle that the human soul uses to move through the physical world. The atom is the building block of all matter. It goes through the steps of protons, molecules, and subatomic particles. Molecular structure is higher than atomic structure. Cell structure is higher than atomic structure because cells make up all of the body's parts and systems. There is a different amount of oneness in each place. This is the piece that is made from the element. That level, called the soul level, is the least conscious. It can work by itself or with other parts to make a stronger whole. The elements come from a source object that was made and put inside the beginning. These elements form an infinite number of true energetic selves. There's no difference between them. Different amounts of character have been given to people, to give them different ways to look at things. When people understand this, they may start, which will help them work together better. They think that everything is you, me, and them if there is oneness. All is oneness. This will mean that there is no need for war and strife. You don't need to be selfish. We will share everything. Each person will get through it all with unity. They would work with everyone to make sure that everyone grows. Nobody is trying to beat anyone else. There is no reason to compete right now. Because people are endless and have many senses, they are able to experience life in more profound ways. Because humans can use more than one sense, they should remember the Spirit of God and spiritual powers. It is possible for people to live divinely one-one lives as they move along the return road. Divination tools are forward-looking methods that can help people connect with life more deeply and see things from a bigger picture. They will also keep helping human beings as they move forward on the path to spiritual awakening. A number of people are being given the chance to remember and build ties along with their other life goals. When people practice mindfulness again, they often use the spiritual tools to help them get through life. It will keep helping them understand that they are divine. They feel deeply moved to bring back connections in this group by pledging to live as heart-centered human beings. The law of divine oneness is a manifestation of the incarnation. It is the spirit that lives in the human soul, and it is closely connected to the holy oneness. There is a big deal and an amazing change going on in front of everyone. Finally, people are at a place and time where the act of pretending to be someone they're not makes them feel bad. This means that they have reached a point where they don't need to sacrifice the pain and suffering that come with being incarnated at this point in time. You have to pay the price. Within the human race, an amazing thing is happening. The pain and misery have always been a threat. We're now done with the idea of microfamilies. It is finally starting to happen that self-judgment, the most holy thing of all time, is coming into the real world. This is where the law of divine oneness is. What a wonderful find. What a beautiful sight. What an amazing event that is just beginning and is already pelting humankind with rain. Now the world is being filled with the all-powerful holy oneness. The world is being ruled by the great challenge of existence itself. What makes the real incarnation or appearance so huge and one of a kind? Can't stop the forces of love and light from finding out the truth anymore. The journey for the human body to become what it was meant to be has finally begun. The many energies that never run out and are easily available in living things are becoming clear. It involves both mental and physical work to care for and grow the huge project that is finally coming together. Now that everything has been created, the divine oneness is ready to bring the whole ethics into the vessels that were made just for this reason. Who or what is God doing in someone's life to make a space for him to be pulled to spiritual oneness? Have you ever been turned down? Do they think there's a hole in their life? Does the human mind have a steady source of irritation that makes a person unhappy? Have people ever thought that God made the void to bring human beings closer to himself? Like Jesus' real followers, one must reach out to God. People should trust God with everything and let him handle it, to fix whatever is stopping them from getting in touch with him. People don't fully understand what God is doing, but no matter what the human journey is or how it stands, one should believe that God will teach those who follow him and lead them to the next step. If you believe in God, are you ready to keep going? It says in the law of divine oneness that God is a teacher and straightens out the road when his following stray. People are afraid, though, and don't believe it, that he will end all pain without the need for human intervention. A person who believes in oneness comes to a certain point in a magical meeting with God in which the person doesn't give up. He is sure that God has all power and would definitely act if someone asked him to. Faces a real problem to be self-aware even when they are hopeless. From thinking that God will give them his gifts, people move on to realizing that God will do so. People know that they are dealing with the all-powerful God, who is greater than any problems they may have with material things. People only have to deal with brief problems because they have a link with God, who is always kind to those who follow him. Because of this, the divine oneness would always do what is best for the person he is paying attention to. Will anyone put all their faith in God and let him do what he wants to do through them? People who believe in real oneness say that the law of divine oneness is the only way to know what God is like. At first, people look for a child to help them feel complete, but the real goal is to find a way to talk to the supernatural directly. Human faith in God is important because of divine teachings. Worship is simply thanking God for being one with us by truly understanding his word. Some people think that God will take care of everything else as long as they do their part. The job of the human is to believe what God says and live in a way that earns respect. Someone shouldn't feel down if they can't live an honorable life. In the end, divine oneness brings about a change in faith. People would do good things to show their faith. People are no longer sad after they have reached oneness. It's hard to be sad when you're worshiping God. Through spiritual oneness, one slowly moves into God's shade, and his power makes him believe in himself and do things that don't seem possible. The divine fate can be fulfilled by any other human. Now all people have to do is give the right answer. Answers to these questions that will change your life. People who truly believe in God will agree on something. Of God's existence even when things are tough. Time that is moving slowly because of pain and grief can try trust, which is based on being one with everything. People who want to be one with God are responsible. Do they want to be forced to deal with bad luck? Or do they want God to fix their true purpose and destiny? Do people let their pain and suffering stop them from doing what they need to do? Or do they wrap their hands to focus on themselves? Miracles say that being far from God or believing in two paths leads to sickness, hopelessness, and poverty. Damage, bloodshed, fear, unpredictable behavior, and changes in the planet's temperature. Being divinely one with God brings health, kindness, wealth, growth, and peace of mind. People put up a wall between themselves and God when their thoughts and ego tell them they aren't good enough to worship. People who have the wrong ideas can change their minds by following the law of divine oneness. To fix the gap, they need to start seeing themselves as a part of God. Despite best attempts by human beings to live worthwhile lives, the law of divine oneness. Modern life and the way people live it cause stress. People wake up, do their morning chores, and then go. Work, come home late, eat dinner, sleep, and then start the whole process over again. People will play with their tools and devices if there is still time. People today have a good life, the latest technology, and many other things they could only dream of. They still don't have peace of mind. They have stress, worry, fat, heart disease, and stress. Because they couldn't keep a good diet, they got sick and had many other problems, living a simple life and just being themselves. When do people have time to rest and chill out? This is where yoga comes in. Traditional yoga methods can help people who are feeling down. Work together with current methods of healing. Union with the Supreme is what yoga means. It brings together spiritual, mental, and physical energies that work together and offer long-term benefits that help keep overall health. In its simplest form, yoga is realizing that you are one with God. The human body, mind, and soul can all benefit from yoga's nurturing and purification, human self-awareness to find the source of all problems. Yoga and human postures. You can pay attention to how you sit, as long as it's on a couch or a bed. In either case, people tend to slouch, which is easy. Physically, is not always the best position to be in. It makes the body feel bad. Anyone ever feel like they need to stretch all the time? Torque is used to keep the body's parts in place. Probably not. When people aren't sitting down to rest or sleep, their bodies are mostly bent forward. It makes the body feel out of balance. Distortion of the body's structure can affect the working of internal organs. Asanas, or yoga poses, are a physical part of yoga that can help with body pain. Asanas are thought to be controlled body moves that go hand in hand with organized breathing. Yoga poses can help you fix problems with your body while still keeping full awareness. One more part of physical health is the flow of energy, which helps people control their thoughts. To bring in good vibes, you have to push away negative thoughts. The energies of people must match their thoughts. Mindfulness and yoga. Yoga is all about getting to know, understand, and realize your mind. So, the most important part of yoga is the mental part. People have to deal with both physical and mental stress. It might be even worse than the first one. When someone is under emotional stress, they tend to hold back, focusing too much, not knowing what to do, and other things. People need to calm down and focus in order to deal with these problems. One of the easiest ways to calm down the human body and get back to a state of balance is to practice the ways of relaxing that lead to divine oneness in the end. To take charge of your thinking, you need to order your thoughts. One suggestion is to sleep, which is a way to relax and a great way to heal. In yoga, people find peace when they separate their ideas, thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Anyone who wants to sleep should not be mentally stressed or in any other kind of pain. Being more aware of their thoughts and avoiding bad ones is made possible by it. Also, before going to sleep, one should consciously try to become aware of the things that are bothering them. People may be physically stressed because of problems at work, in the family, or with their minds in any other way. So he might close his eyes for a while and say a prayer again before he touches the bed. This process wakes up the inner self, which makes people watch and notice it, which makes it more likely that they will get a good night's sleep. The mental part of yoga makes people focus on energies that are spread out. It gives you confidence, a new outlook on life, and a calm state of mind. Yoga and soulfulness. The spiritual side of yoga that helps people feel the power inside them. They are the third source of energy that a lot of people still don't understand. Humans are influenced by this energy in the ways they feel, think, sense, and act. In a spiritual setting, people balance their outer life with their inner being by meditation. They can connect with the holy oneness that lives in all human souls during this change. Yoga and meditation go well together. Like yoga poses, meditation teaches people how to keep their thoughts in check. Focus the mind so that all of its energy is on the task at hand. No matter what is going on, meditation helps people stay focused and be able to handle any distraction with complete peace, focus, and calmness. It gets rid of all ideas you already have and wakes the power source inside you. Take a moment to breathe in and connect with this place, the holy unity that yoga may bring. A lot of time is spent having family and work tasks at the same time. They will have a lot of physical, mental, and social problems if they don't take time to do yoga and meditate to connect with their inner selves. Law of divine oneness and science. Scientists who study quantum mechanics have shown that the DNA of every moving thing has the same basic properties, and all of them have the same chemical energy. It's on Earth, in space, and in other places too. The difference is set by the setting of those things and energy particles. When you compare apples and oranges, you can see what makes the two popular foods different. Apples and oranges are made of the same basic substances, but nature has different structures that look different to people. Even so, when broken down to their most basic chemical, they have a lot of the same parts and components. People can put them together however they want. What they pick out that makes the sites unique. Society, the earth, and the world are all experiences that are largely formed by putting together what one chooses in real life. You can choose to be one with God or with the two sides of society. Everybody makes their own world based on their own ideas and points of view that are in line with their goals. The source, which is the global life force, will let people know directly how to let go their thoughts and feelings from the limits that the heavenly forces put on them. It does this by letting you see a new vista. From the unseen to the seen, the source of everything. Being is just a promise waiting to be fulfilled. It is the core of endless options for your journey to forever. To put it another way, it just needs to be released because it is already present in human beings. It is possible for people to make their dreams come true. They know who they are at their core and can access their inner self. Infinity options are always in sight because there are so many of them. Something else to say is that when you get close to spiritual oneness, anything is possible. As scientists look for the zero-point energy field, they learn that it connects everything and everyone. In every case, it seems to be true. It's possible that the zero-point energy field and the sphere of awareness are the same thing. The ideas based on quantum physics and the new, quickly growing field of the science of self-consciousness have both put a lot of weight on this. The law of divine oneness and the idea of a single field that holds everything together. In physics, things like the so-called zero-point energy field are talked about. Author Lynn McTaggart from Britain wrote the now famous book The Field, The Quest for the Secret Force of the Universe. Made important details about this basic zero-point energy field easier for more people to read. The idea of a widely connected area that supports everything is not new in the field of science. As early as the late 1800s, some scientists thought that there might be such a fundamental field. This idea was the basis for Albert Einstein's special relativity theory. His idea was taken seriously, and the idea of a natural global field or ether was finally ruled out. Aside from that, quantum scientists also thought there must be a type of place where normal physics rules don't apply. Such a place was called a universal vacuum, which means it was completely empty. They thought that this area was completely empty and not filled with ether. The so-called universal vacuum that drives quantum physics is nothing like what people think it is. Being full, or a natural lake of energy, is what the zero-point energy field is. This field of energy doesn't exist on the surface of reality, where normal rules of physics apply. Quantum scientists say that this lake of energy lives on a level of reality that is not connected to space or time. The idea behind quantum entanglement was first found in parts smaller than an atom at the quantum level. Means that everything that shows up is connected to everything else. In line with the law of divine oneness, it was found that everything in the world is made up of quantum particles, is closely linked to each other, creating a unified revival. But it used to be thought that it was only true at the quantum level, and that it had nothing to do with. These ideas have real-world effects on larger physical processes, like living things. In other words, people thought that there was a different truth at the quantum level than the truth they knew at the more common level of reality. Quantum physics experts, on the other hand, have found that this kind of entanglement can happen at different levels of organization. Because of this wide range of interoperability, quantum coherence exists in biological systems. Like the human body is made up of many organs and tissues, and each one is made up of trillions of cells, and even more units of different types. Every one of these things happens on its own, while making up the whole that people are. Like this, a living whole is made, in which the parts in the whole are fully connected. The links between living things and the bonds between them, between living things and the places they live, are connected. Recently made science findings show that the world seems to be a naturally and quickly connected whole, with big and small things alike. In any case, the zero-point energy field brings everyone together. Besides that, this zero-point energy field seems to be, in the background of human life, a moving lake of energy that also sends data. It is said that all of the past info is kept in this field. According to science, the void, or nothingness, is made up of moving networks that are too complicated to understand. Areas of energy that are very well organized and kept in check. Physicists are sure that these force fields that can't be seen exist, play a controlling or directing role in all physical processes, even though they don't know where they came from or how they are put together. The idea that the human mind is not completely contained is becoming more prevalent. It's inside the brain, but it's also connected to a bigger area of awareness. The study of awareness by transpersonal scientist Stanislav Grof shows that it is possible to go beyond the normal limits of space, time, the mind, and the body during transpersonal interactions. People can connect with the group awareness and get new ideas from these meetings. That goes beyond what people have learned in the past through normal channels. A person's awareness is not just a part of the universal consciousness that surrounds and includes everything. Based on many well-documented studies, it also means that awareness changes the chances of things happening. The human mind is no different from other systems in that it brings order to them. Human awareness can influence the field of cosmic consciousness because it is a part of the consciousness of the world. The extreme view has recently been held by a steadily growing number of scientists. That aware experience might not just be something that's all around us, but that awareness could also be what holds everything together. Plays a big part in organizing the making of matter and life. Researchers are becoming more and more sure that matter does not cause awareness, as was once thought. Consciousness has always existed, and it is what gave rise to human beings. So everything is based on consciousness, and matter comes from awareness. It really makes sense that the law of divine oneness is linked to global awareness. Everything that exists, whether it is seen or not, is deeply connected to everything else in a world of heavenly oneness. The meeting point of God's or universal mind energy, which is also known as the Almighty or the source of all energy, is a holy being that includes everything. It is true that everything is one. As more people become aware of this rule, Their understanding of divine power and how it relates to everything will grow. It is very important for people as a species to start to understand and accept this rule. The only good thing they should think about each other is each other. When someone sees some good in other people, they will also think of other people. Because an individual reaps what they give, all human thoughts, feelings, and deeds must be good. People will see how these are all linked as they learn more about what the law of divine oneness really means. Ways they connect and how they run the world we live in. Everything is possible because energy is present. Any earthly substance, the sky, the ground, your best friend, your worst enemy, and everything in between can be thought of as fragile. To put it another way, there's no difference. How could someone act if they haven't really? Was aware that he is not different from life, his family and friends, his co-workers, and all other people who are still alive? That's the answer that people see differently. People can easily move mountains if the whole. The world can move at its highest level when it is filled with love, energy, kindness, understanding, hope, happiness, and other good feelings. Most people are focused on getting the lowest possible price, which affects the rest of the population. Energy is the basis for everything. Because of this, when the low energy is sent out into the universe, it lowers the general vibrations of the world. Remember that everything that lives is linked to everything else. That means that every vibration has an effect on other vibrations. It's possible that the sound is different for each person. That energy can't be destroyed or made again, though. That's what energy is. When someone is low, they can't go high because the two low levels tend to meet in the middle. Low energy can have an effect on the whole world. In turn, this stops people from working at their best. As a result, the world starts to feel heavy when most people are struggling with low energy. When someone understands the law of divine oneness, they feel something that is unlike anything else. When he learns how this rule controls human life, he changes the way he thinks about life. People will be happy almost all the time once they understand why some things happen. They are no longer blaming other people or themselves. They've done better in life, and even more. They are aware of how they affect the whole world. Humans are a part of God, says the law of divine oneness. Of the whole, which includes everything else in life,